我觉得我们这次赢下这两支老牌强队，主要的是就是我们特别团结，特别相信彼此，然后我们也有就一些外界不看好我们的元素啊，我们就特别想赢。
Nobody thinks they can win, but here we are. Another Game 5, much like against RNG, where JDG are looking to make their miracle run here in the LPL Spring Playoffs for 2019. My name's Jake Sozipenko, and this is Mr. Clement Chu. We've had time to recover after that 44-kill game, and now looking to see what happens here as JDG return to the stage.
This will be the first time either organization actually makes it into an LPL Finals.
Yeah.
A lot is on the line. The redemption story for Imp after multiple splits, 6 splits, not reaching the playoffs on LGD, and then you have Doinb, a regular split hero, but never making it big in the playoffs. Who is actually going to triumph today?
And who is going to make history here? Remember that every time we go to a Game 5 in the LPL, this is just so perfect. Listen to the music in the back. Rise. That's what it's about here for Imp, for Doinb, for people like Yagao, for Zoom as well. You could name any player on these two rosters, and it would be so motivational to see their journey towards playoffs itself. It's first seed versus 8th seed. It's Doinb versus Yagao. It's Zoom versus GimGoon. And although it has been about the jungle, really, Imp versus LWX has been a spectacle as well.
LWX has never made it this far, while Imp was a former world champion, and when it really comes down to it, this is a little bit of an unfortunate shot. LvMao figures that out as well. Instantly stops. Just taking a look at his stats, 82.6% kill participation and 90 vision score. You can compare that to your own solo queue score, and you'll know it's actually quite high. LvMao's still complaining about that shot. It's like this director does not like me.
He doesn't like me, but everyone would like LvMao after the Game 4 Bard. What a performance there. It was so important to JDG's success, and so was Imp, sniping out that last kill onto LWX to open up the game, open up the series, and bring them to this moment. Game 5 for JDG before. They've been in this situation against RNG. They closed things out 4 games against WE. This, again, is the miracle run that if JDG have their way, they could make it from 8th seed, round 1, all the way into the grand finals.
I don't think we've ever had that in the LPL. The most someone has made is, yeah, they were able to sneak into Worlds, but I don't think we've seen a Dark Horse 8th seed, last seed in the playoffs, make it all the way and win the championships. Now remember, JD Gaming coming up, they only had a 9-win and 6-loss split. It was 8th seed, not a very good record. Regular split was quite dotty, and a big reason we didn't see them on the first or second or third team was that their last 2 weeks, they dropped 3 matches in a row to stumble their way into the 8th seed position. But Coach Home has really done such good work with the team, allowing them to position themselves correctly depending on the matchup, and when everything is on the line, they still have deep pockets with those champion picks.
Who will rise? Warhorse. We've talked about Home, FPX, JDG. Game number 5, and we are not going to see Rek'Sai here. We're not going to see Imp's champions once again, nor the Silas for the first pick blue side, as FPX have opted to stay on this side, and Tian, his best champion that we have not seen in this series, gets locked in.
It's also the best champion of Flawless, 77% win rate when Flawless takes the Jarvan. It's a clear takeaway from JD Gaming. FPX has been banning it throughout the entire series, and I actually really like the idea. Strong ganking potential, also guarantees your initiation and engage. It also forces a lot of teams to take the Galio early. They don't want to see the Cannonball combo.
LvMao can opt in for that because Imp's gone for the same champion again too. Morgana's not available, and open as JDG have banned it away. Let's see what's taken here. The Brom's also on the table, but the Galio's just been too strong.
Yeah, that's the combo that we've seen FPX traditionally run with when they had Pepper on the team as their jungler. The entire team knew how to deal with that initiation, and this is going to allow FPX to go for a very easy Brom like they first prioritized in Game 4. Tabe said it, Brom is a huge pick here, and it's also a counter pick to Galio, so I love the way FPX has set up this draft.
It's also been Chris' go-to here in this series as well. 3 seconds, that'll be just hovered over until eventually locked in, it seems, here for FPX. Now, 80 carry in this first phase, or does GimGoon get a champion that in 9.2 was so feared No, we go back to the Cogmore again.
Okay, this is risky because the Galio can actually go mid. There is still a chance for them to just go Bard Varus and repeat the matchup here. Yagao's thinking about it. Do I actually pick up the Galio? He has done it even after the Galio.
We don't
AP
have to find out in this rotation as well. Play around the flex opportunity on the red side. Gangplank is a big one for GimGoon, but for Zoom as well. That'll be taking away a champion that's been banned in the second phase. Surprised to see it here in game number 5 when Swain was a big possibility.
It's a really interesting pick because when JD Gaming played up against FPX, Zoom had the worst game of his career playing up against GimGoon. GimGoon was on Akali. He solo killed Zoom multiple times, and they also had a ton of early dives to put him down behind. So I think it's really interesting that FPX also flashed the Akali early before they locked in the Kog'Maw. The reason you do Gangplank into the Kog'Maw is because you outrange him. Kog'Maw max range 710. You get the triple barrel chain. It's much farther than that. So FPX definitely have thought about the possibility of a Gangplank being a pickup, and they're just trying to get a couple bans away from JD.
Yeah, trying to get in the minds of FPX as well. That means that we could see the Akali ban further to your point. We've already got the rise away from Doinb, but GimGoon in this series, his cannon has been monstrous. So that's taken off the board, means that Akali is still available, with Nocturne being the focus. Lee Sin away from Flawless, the jungle pool limited, but not forgotten. Let's see what Flawless goes for.
Oh, but Kindred is still left up. Now, this is a champion that I don't think does that well into the likes of Kog'Maw and Braum. You get tagged, you actually fall very easily.
Stop it.
It is a counter, considered a counter to Jarvan, because Jarvan EQ, you just Q out of the way. It's very easy to dodge that, but I don't think it's a good fit against Braum.
Okay, let's go for the Elise instead. The AP damage seems like it's lacking for JDG too, so that's a bonus.
This is a lot of pressure on LWX. There is a lot of front-loading crowd control that could fly into his face. And the way Kog'Maw comp like to play, Kog'Maw stands in front. He actually is at the forefront, so he needs to dodge out on those crowd control, or what happened in Game 5 could happen again. Game 4, sorry.
Yeah, QSS was optimally built there for LWX in that last game. We'll see a Vladimir too, so a lot of kill threat towards that back line. No, Doinb. He's done this in the regular season. Let's see what it actually is, because there is so much on the board here for FPX. Wide champion pools are the go-to. His Cassiopeia has been feared across Summoner's Rift here in China. And
Cassiopeia guarantees him in one lane. There isn't a lot of champions that can actually outpush the Cassiopeia or have priority over it. The only thing he needs to be careful about is avoiding those ganks coming in from Flawless here.
I'm glad they shut that up. I was moments away from talking about his Cassiopeia. 14 KDA, has not lost a game. This is why it's feared.
I really love this from FPX, because what Coach Home is saying is that we're diversifying our offensive options. Even if LWX takes 2 crowd controls to the face and just instantly pops, we have other people to clean up and finish the fight. They have a lot more staying power in these team fights with the Vladimir and the Cassiopeia. So JD Gaming, great pick potential, but they're going to have to do it multiple times to actually just win one team fight.
So that's what I'm taking away from this Clement. Pick potential versus that all-out team fight again from FPX with Tian. His early aggression in this 2v2 with Doinb on the Cassiopeia, with his best champion in the Jarvan. Now I fear for someone like Yagao, but also for that bottom lane dive that we talked about.
Damn, this is such a rough mid-jungle to play up against. Elise and LeBlanc will kill you in an instant. Their CC chains are very easy to follow up with. It's all down to Flawless and Yagao, really. If they play to the occasion, they could really just steamroll this matchup and take it into the top lane as well. Vladimir doesn't have a lot of options when it comes to enemy teams trying to tower dive him. So really on the knife's edge type of pick. It either works really well or it fails completely on its face. It
really does. I want to see how it goes in this Game 5, because everything's thrown out the window here in this series. Game 5, the best of 1, tournament life on the line, the grand final on the line. And you again look at that 2v2. Our director loves showing it. Tian, Doinb on your right-hand side. This is the mid 2v2. You're looking at Flawless, Yagao.
This is so important. Now, of course, the grounded ability from the Miasma can allow you an easy EQ, but you have to be very close for that to happen, and Elise is always lurking around. This is Doinb's legacy on the line compared to the redemption and the sophomore success story from Yagao and Zoom in the top lane. A lot of story rides along this.
For JDG, look at their last year. Their journey to Worlds denied. Their journey in 2018 denied as a whole. FPX didn't even get to make the journey, but now with Doinb on the roster, it looks so perfect. But here in this game number 5, we'll find out. JDG versus FPX, the semi-final comes to a conclusion as we find out if Imp returns to former glory or if Doinb can finally break the curse and give himself a chance. It's first versus 8th. And his voice, as the fans think LGD is still here. The voice of JDG will be much like mine at the end of this game, completely gone. Let's see how it erupts, because the last game was a 44-kill slugfest that ended with 1 pick from Imp.
And that was all it needed to take for JD Gaming to claw their way back. I hope FPX chilled out. I hope they've cooled down on their
this is
their
not chilled
aggressiveness.
out.
This is a correct play, though.
Okay.
So I'm fine with that.
Yep. That's very fair. So we're going to start on the blue side. Opposite sides here is Flawless is towards the red buff. There is vision there. They saw the full-on invaders. Everyone cleared out the ward, and Imp is just holding the wave back. And let's see what they can do.
This is really smart from Imp. So what he's doing is allowing the minion wave from FPX to actually target his own minion wave.
Yeah.
And that should allow it to push into him. He doesn't have to risk the potential level 2 gank from Tian, Jarvan. That's the reason he's doing it.
That's true. We're going to see the mid lane engage as well. Flawless working towards this jungle. Smite comes down. Tian's level 2. The flash over. Cocoon into spider form. Flawless going for the 1v1. Where's the bottom lane? Not involved as Repel comes up. Tian gets the smackdown, but Imp and LvMao might have to burn a flash to get over the wall. The Hail of Arrows not there. The Winds of War as well. Tian is out. Doesn't have the flash available. He's in the back of the pit as Flawless in the river. Imp is getting mighty low as well. First blood over to Doinb. JDG caught in the river. Flash forward. LWX and Doinb get the blood. FPX. It begins again!
And it's a 3-for-1 in their favor. That was so good on Flawless. I thought he was going to lock down the kill, but the Triumphs come in. The minion wave is pushing. Massive win for FPX. They're already up 1K, and they should be able to deny even more in this bot side.
You have a Cassiopeia or a Cogmore that just got kills. LWX got first blood. Tian survived as well. Clement, Cassiopeia has a tier at 2 minutes 50 into the game. Doinb is accelerated to say the least.
Let's just watch this play. Really smart on Tian to instantly get out. Flawless does tag him with the red buff, but has to flash himself just to get most of the damage down. And it looks like he's about to clean it off. He's just waiting for that Q execute to finish, but doesn't actually get it. Transfers back to human. LvMao misses the Q. So tight on that play. LWX uses the heal to keep him alive, and then you see Tian with the Triumph getting back to full health. They do finally find Doinb, but it's a 3-for-1 trade.
More the sidestep from Tian to walk away from the Winds of War. The initial damage so much more than the Gale itself. Fall's going to try and bring momentum back into his advantage, but with the Cocoon landing down, we're just going again. JDG
Everyone's
find
here.
FPX now for the flag and drag onto Yagao. He has to flash. Cassiopeia onto Floors. Repel eventually comes through, but he has no one to jump to. Here goes Doinb again. GimGoon picks up a kill. JDG, this is going horribly wrong.
And sometimes you flip the coin, sometimes you get heads, and sometimes you get tails. Really well done by FPX to predict the sustained invade. They have Crisp in position to counter LvMao. We were talking about JD Gaming. They do like to gamble a lot, and that was just one dice roll too far. Their support did not arrive on scene fast enough.
I wanted to talk about the pick potential, what JDG can offer with this composition in game number 5. But I'm going to start talking about FPX and what they can do from now. Tian has 4 assists, 100% kill participation, heading towards the top side of the map. 1,600 gold lead already, and Flawless is level 2. Still picks up the ward, hits a level from that, but is behind in relative scaling sense and how this game's going to go from here on.
I want to change how this game should have actually gone. It's not really about who wins the early tempo. It's about parting gift there. It's about who can chill off faster. Game 4 was crazy. There was a lot of plays that should not have happened or should not have worked.
This one feels crazy as well, Clement.
It is crazy, but I feel like JD Gaming is losing their cool more so than FPX.
Okay.
FPX are finally stabilized. They won the plays that they should have won. They had priority in the bot side, so they were able to arrive to Tian's assistance before JD Gaming could, and Chris also read the play that Galio was going to come towards the top side very, very well. It was really smart counter. He was there in position, and that allowed Doinb to pick up another
So I'm assuming now, Clement, we wait for FPX again to slow things down. They've already got the picks, they've already got the scaling on their side, and JDG, tempo needs to go back to them. Am I right?
Yeah, if you're playing in the least right now, you have to speed things up. And if you see that build, Flawless is going to go for the Moby build. It's a super risky one, but whenever he plays the Elise, he's going Mobies. If you don't find a kill within 5 minutes of picking that up, you're pretty much dead because you cannot farm with that item.
You have to react to Flawless on the mobility boots, but more so Flawless has to react to FPX with Tian and Doinb starting to get the shove out as iconically they do so. Small CS lead for Doinb in the mid lane, whereas the bottom lane there quite even for the Cogmore after the kill. Double longsword in hand, he picked that up before. Be curious because Doinb, he went back, he picked up the Negatron cloak. There's going to be a lot of negation of damage against Yagao, and Yagao, he picked up Electrocute in this lane, so that's already the damage just demoted from the LeBlanc.
I love the Negatron because you're going up against double AP in the mid and jungle from JD Gaming. Negatron allows you to get priority in lane. This is probably a bait too far. I don't think JD Gaming is going to fall for that.
LWX is like, come on, I'm tasty. Unfortunately, Imp doesn't follow it up. Tian's going to be caught out here as well by LvMao, who checks the brush. So away from backing for now, while Flawless is actually on the bottom side, has not gone for the mobility boot rush.
Okay. He's actually still going to go for the Stalker. So this is less mobility, of course, but you still get very good ganking results with this item. I thought he was going to go down the crazy route and just make this game end at 10 minutes. I mean, like, if I get a gank, we're still in.
We might. Let's be honest. Here comes Justice Punch, shielded Duran. Tian can't get out the flag and drag. Not successful as this might come through. He has the flash. Yagao looking to chase up, but that's a small win for JDG.
The boy lives. He still has 2 stacks of... Oh, okay. That was the Varus stacks right there.
Yep.
Does manage to work out again, and Chris has been so on point with helping out his teammates this game. Both times roaming with Tian was just spot on.
Really has been. 0-0 and 3 on the Braum has picked up boots, and not going to expect too much more. The main item you're looking at right now is we bring our attention back to the mid lane. We see a tier that's been stacking up since the 2nd minute here in our game number 5. So Doinb's in such a comfortable position. Yagao picks up a kill earlier on, however, and it still has a lost chapter. So ability to roam up with Doinb, who's now looking at the top side.
Zoom knows something's going up.
That's the flash, that's the Hema play. Can Zoom turn this around underneath the turret? Here comes Petrifying Gaze, locked in place, staring at a wall.
And that cannon barrage did nothing. A little bit unfortunate on Zoom right there, but was really slow on getting away, and that's what the Negatron cloak really allows you to do. You can put your face in brushes and not worry about dying against LeBlanc and Flawless.
And look who picked up the kill there, Clement. Doinb has 3 kills now on this Cassiopeia early. You are going to try and pick up some turret plating, should be able to get 1, but the Vladimir walking towards either mid or top side, not sure at the moment. But getting the gangplank behind after being 20 CS ahead. Zoom will have to walk back to the top side while Vladimir is still not in his regular lane.
Just trying to hold the wave as Doinb has to make a late rotation. Pretty smart on FPX's part to continue with that play. Yep. And they are trying to force feed a lot of the CS over to Cassiopeia's side to make her stronger. Zoom sniffed it out. He knew instantly when GimGoon was walking up that this was about to happen. And he tried to get the cannon barrage on a hopeful kill onto Doinb. Doesn't really happen.
Did tank up the turret, so there was an attempt there for Zoom, although it doesn't work out. Flash still in hand for the top lane gangplank if there is a return. Still has the CS lead up there as well. So a good news story if JDG can accelerate the gangplank by any means.
So I actually asked Doinb about how he can find so many side lane tower dive type of kills, and he said the most important part was knowing which side the enemy jungler was on. And a lot of times FPX don't even know based on the information in-game. They know because of the VOD studies that they do. They said Warhorse is very diligent in giving them information on enemy jungler trends and they're able to basically have a sixth sense of where Flawless is going to be. And in that play, you could see Elise on the other side of the map, no one to help out, easy 3v1 dive.
And Flawless doesn't have the mobility boots as well, so it's so important here in this early game against JDG. Level 6 now on the Elise, which means absolutely nothing, but it does, considering that Tian is now a level behind himself. Blue buff's going to be picked up too, so that's delayed for a little while longer before the Cataclysm is available. 20 CS the difference that Flawless has recovered, and that this early game has been quelled, considering the gold lead was already about 1,500.
I'm really surprised at JD Gaming's tenacity. They're only 300 gold behind at this point. Sure, a lot of it has to do with the top lane matchup that Gangplank has. It is an advantageous matchup, but Flawless this time around, he's paying more attention to farming than I've ever seen him pay in an entire split.
I mean, he has to, and he's going to go in for the invade right now. Look at where Tian is, going to spot him out. Cocoon, mid-range, the flag and drag, delays sometimes. Yagao gets the double chain. He goes back over to the distortion. 2v1, he survives. While Chris engages, comes down with the Glacial Fissure that misses. Over with the blast cone. Doinb not even going to chase that up, but that's an ulti burn for a summoner in Yagao.
Yeah, good trade right there on FPX's side. They get a much more important summoner out from Yagao. That's going to take down his 1v1 kill potential. But that was a play that should have worked. I actually think that was a great play from JD Gaming. The spots were timed very perfectly, but Tian outplayed. Tian found the EQ combo still during before the Cocoon could fully shut him down, and he was able to take himself very close to where Doinb was, and Doinb was in range of helping, so Yagao had to back out.
Really did, and even right now you can see that as he gets back to lane, even the CS is not safe. Doinb and Tian, Tian will be actually spotted out moving into the red side. Jungle Flawless is towards the bottom side. That control there much needed when he does transition back up towards the top side where GimGoon is.
This is smart. All he needs to do is show, and Zoom is going to be pretty afraid of that. Now, I will say JD Gaming actually got quite lucky on the Ocean break. They lost a big fight in the bot lane. JD Gaming got the early reset, and they just went for the Drake. So
great for Yagao.
Good way to rebound, and just looking at the gold right there, 200 gold in favor of Zoom.
Bottom lane as well has an advantage. Look at LWX and Imp. There's a CS that's similar to that top side of the map. Also along the lines of 20 for Imp, who just picked up Blade of the Ruin King and headed back to lane. LWX, of course, with the same build, picked up the same item. That kill is favoring him here in this 1v1 matchup. It's not like the Gangplank where you get the extra bonus gold. LWX relying on Crisp a lot more, and hopefully not Yagao, who's starting to roam down.
This Ocean is just so crucial for the early game. It's just these things that when random dragons happen, you lose a fight and you reset first. You actually sometimes get an advantage.
That's true.
Which is it's pretty counter logic at times, but it does happen.
I know
you
don't like
games.
Dragon RNG sometimes, Clement.
That's
okay. No. Sometimes like this, you say it's absolutely fair. Flawless will be playing on it as he looks to enter the bottom lane. Yagao towards the blue buff, but LWX and Crisp, there's a 4-man dive that's incoming. Do FPX know? I think they went over a ward.
Tian is really far away, and they can fully spot the Jarvan before he even comes in. This should be a tower dive.
He uses flag and drag onto the Raptors, so Chris gets locked down. Cocoon's there. Golden with the stopwatch as Flawless takes a turret shot. In comes the block. LWX takes the sigil as Doinb's coming in. Flashes the flash. Great reaction from Flawless. That was instantaneous.
Really good moment finding right there, and pretty cool on Yagao to find the time to get towards his bottom side as well. Okay, never mind.
He's coming close. That means he's caught out. Has to flash away from the Cataclysm. Here comes the teleport as well. Heal to get the bonus movement speed for Imp, and GimGoon has to commit away from the Gangplank lane. That is massive for the Vladimir.
Yeah, this does look like the bit of the mental boom that we've been seeing that Tabe was mentioning. After that game 4, when you were about to win that game, it's so hard to keep your composure. I think FPX are losing out to the residual effects of that game 4.
I mean, Tian's just trying to get back into the bottom lane, but look at this. LWX gets hit on by Imp, walks away. He wants none of that business, while an Infernal Dragon needs to be contested. Doinb at the moment is in the best position with the Abyssal Mask, and they need to rely on him more because Zoom has just won out this lane by about 40 CS. Turret going down shortly as well.
And there's no one to rotate.
You hope for someone to rotate.
He should be able to take the tower before anyone is able to get up there, and he's already finished the Triforce. Like you were talking about, 40 CS up. This is a pretty insane laning phase from the Gangplank.
Yeah, and Zoom on a carry like this, get ready because our late game is going to be explosive.
Yeah, that didn't need to happen for FPX. That teleport, they did not net the kill earlier on. Imp was able to flash out of the Cataclysm, and FPX were kind of forced to go for the Infernal Drake. They didn't have a choice in that objective trade. I definitely think JD Gaming won out.
Yeah. Okay, so good for them to quell what that early game was. A 4-for-1 trade at the 5-minute mark, or sorry, 3-minute mark. You say GG, it's over. Pack it up, game 5 is not ours. But for them to come back and for Flawless to still have that 20 CS lead, for mid to actually be up in farm, for bottom lane to still be there, all lanes are winning out here for JDG. And this is what you want if you're Coach Home, you're saying, yes, we've brought this back, we have a 2K gold lead, and at 15 minutes in the game, we can keep this up.
Yeah, we brought them down to our level. FPX are a sophisticated arsenal of weapons. They have laser-guided missiles, they have Gatling guns, rail weapons, but JD Gaming have a single rock. However, they're very good with that rock, and they will beat you repeatedly with that rock until you cow down into submission. And that's actually what they've done so far. They've took FPX down to their level.
That's a very good comparison, Clement. I like that. Let's see if they can continue beating them with this rock, because FPX, their missiles are set on the Rift Herald, and looks like this one will just be given over while the rest of JDG move across the mid lane, continue moving across the map, getting deep vision off, and securing the bottom side with the help of Imp.
So they really need to trade this one back, and I think it has to be the mid lane for them. The mid lane's the one that's going to prevent Yagao from doing most of his roams. They're actually losing out so heavily on the bottom side right now.
Yeah, Jarvan just clearing out his jungle. Tian going back now as well. Imp gets the turret, gets the gold on top of it as well. He's heading for the next one. I mean, can GimGoon survive this? Level 11, LvMao has the level difference there. Shielded around, not going to flash towards him. So back to the turret. Demolish stack going to come through as well, and GimGoon cannot wave clear here. You can even see the turret plating that's gone down, and how JDG are out-rotating FPX.
Yeah, GimGoon is actually just paying the price for his bot lane sins, because the bot lane needs to get out of this matchup. They've already lost it. The Blade of the Ruin King is completed right there, and there's already a 20 CS lead on Imp. So they need to back away from this. They wanted to get the lane swap. They really need to train something back for the Herald. But even if they do get something, you have to remember that this was at the cost of 2 towers.
Yeah, and look, Doinb has the Rift Herald as well. It's going to make his backs a lot faster, but when are they going to put it down? Still, Yagao sits in the mid lane, hasn't been able to roam, which seems to be the only good news story here for FPX. But still with their composition, you're hoping they can pace this out. You look and say, all right, 4K gold lead for JDG, but if we can make this game go another 20 minutes, then that gold will most likely mean nothing.
You just need to think about how risky it is for JD Gaming to get their damage off. Barrels are not guaranteed. LeBlanc has to use her face to actually step on someone. Yeah. So if you have Cassiopeia and Vladimir, there's still a very high chance, even if you're like 5 or 6K down,
you got a Cogmore as well, you know? You got a Cogmore, and against Avaris, it's very risky. Imp showed that to us in game number 4, but you still got a Cogmore. That's going to be a good news story if FPX can get there, but Imp's not going to let him. He's got a Blade of the Ruin King, Gwynsu's Rage Blade, 2 items. Actually, the first one on Summoner's Rift, as far as I can see as well, so Imp in a very good position here in this AD carry.
Yeah, he did very well with the lane. After what a disastrous start they had, he was able to rebound. And to be fair, we do see the Varus as being quite a hard counter against the Kog'Maw.
That's true.
The win rate in the LPL, I believe it's about 70% towards the Varus and only 30% to the Kog'Maw. A lot of the times, he wins the lane, and moreover, he's able to lock down the Kog'Maw as the puppy's trying to dishes damage out from the front of the team composition. Chains of Corruption is very deadly against the Kog'Maw.
It's going to be very relevant soon as well. Doinb trying to zone off the members of JDG's Rift Herald. Charges, gets its might off, but doesn't get the turret. FPX have to back away. JDG doing such a good job of denying FPX that momentum that they need.
And this is pretty rough for FPX, because when they didn't manage to secure that tower, they effectively gave over 2 minion waves towards JD Gaming across the map.
Puppy needs to go to the vet. LWX half health. Zoom just barrels them down. He's going to set up another chain as well. Takes a couple of 2 turret shots for my liking, but Yagao's coming in as well. It looks like the next wave could do this for JDG.
Man, it might be more than the vet next time. It might be the Morgue.
Oh my god, Clement. No, not here.
Damn, that's a lot of damage. And to give credit, I actually really like what FPX did with their draft. They said, you know, the first game, we have a bit of a tilt. LWX was sniped out. We cannot pull all the damage on him alone.
Yep.
So at least they have people to finish off the team fight, even if Kog'Maw is put down.
But what looks like, you know, a composition that would do FPX fans proud. 2 losing lanes. Make it 3 eventually as well, because Yagao went steady, so not necessarily a losing lane, but LvMao came out of it alive.
Yeah, he did. I think the key factor right here is that FPX did not actually manage to continue their snowball from mid and jump.
Yep.
You're sitting on 3-1. You should be able to get a lot of vision onto Flawless. Actually, their first 2 plays were so massive in their favor. Getting an extra kill onto Flawless. Flawless started the game out with 2 deaths. That's how bad it actually was.
Yeah.
But they were able to get back primarily because number one, they avoided all of the follow-up ganks coming in from Tian, and Flawless actually scaled back.
Wow.
He just farmed up.
Such a testament. Flawless has to flash away. Locked down, concussive blows. Has to
nowhere to
repel,
go.
but he has nowhere to go. You're right, Clement. Jarvan locks him down, dunks him as Zoom trying to follow up, and Tian going to take a barrel to the face. Cannon Barrage comes through, but they can't get him. Imp trying to snipe him down, but he's already out of there. Good pick. That's Flawless, and even GimGoon to threaten from the side.
So they trade 1 kill from Flawless, and they should get the mid tower. I would still say small lead for JD Gaming.
Yep. But FPX still trying to trade back. Barrel comes through. Doinb takes a chunk of it again. He'll pick up the CS, so the turret does eventually go down, like you mentioned, opening up the map for JDG.
Ooh, this is so difficult to deal with if you're FPX. How do you actually target down Zoom? He has the range advantage, and I don't think FPX actually have the engage potential.
He has a more of Mortius. I mean, he's got 2 items, and he's got the tenacity boost, so Doinb is not going to chunk him.
I really want to see how they deal with the game plank later in game. It has to be done. So Flawless actually takes a Winter's Bite and still goes forward for the chunk. Okay, that's not worth it. I think that was just a misplay on Flawless's part. He did have help coming in, but definitely not worth it.
No, it does go down 0-3 and 2. Doesn't describe how his game 3's been in terms of recovery. 40 CS still in the lead here as Tian has been playing reactively in this game and is a level behind. Look at how this game's going though still for FPX. 5k gold behind, but another Infernal's about to spawn. Baron's a threat if JDG can lock onto it soon enough, but FPX still, the bottom side, they had no priority there, and it's good for JDG if they can deny away the second Infernal.
This is just absolutely insane that JD Gaming are now 5,000 gold ahead.
Yeah.
I feel like the macro play from FPX was so rushed. They forced themselves into an early Infernal, and they traded the top side for it, and when they went for the Herald, remember, the Herald didn't even get a tower.
Yeah.
They traded 2 towers for the Herald.
The turret's still there in the mid lane.
Yeah, it didn't work out. So it's all just these small things staggering each other together. So even though they got objectives, they did not transfer that into actual gold on the map, into the pockets of their own carries. And that's a big reason why we're seeing this this deficit right here.
Yeah.
It's really insane. Props to JD Gaming for their recovery, and also just playing off the mistakes here from FPX.
That's right, it's going to require a miracle fight this early in the game for FPX to get someone, and it might be Flawless as they've got themselves concussive blows locked up. Repel's not there, he won't be able to flash away either. Petrifying gaze as Cannon Barrage comes in, but Zoom is nowhere nearby. They poke out here, but it's just Imp and LvMao. Flawless dies again. FPX are repeat offending this jungler.
Yeah, so Flawless actually goes out of his way to put damage onto Tian. A little bit of a curious decision right there. I think that's some of the communication issues that we're seeing coming out between JD Gaming's team as well. So both sides, you know, slipping up just a little bit, but there's no harm actually done. If you look at the Dragon timer, everyone's still going to be respawning in time.
But you're giving more gold over to Doinb, so although he's 0-4 on the gold, or Flawless rather, is not worth too much anymore, Doinb is just getting money. 2 items, Seraph's Embrace. He already picked up the Majora's Mask there as his first item. So now you have a 2-item Cassiopeia who negates a lot of the AP damage out of Flawless and Yagao. And has not been turned by the mask just yet. Doinb level 14 and FPX hovering around the Baron, clearing out vision before this Infernal spawns.
Oh, this is so interesting. They're trying to fork JD Gaming at this point. They actually have the damage to do it. All 4 of their carries... all 3 of their carries do a lot of damage at this point, 2 of them at percentage health. So there's a real chance that they could force JD Gaming towards the Baron and then just sneak an Infernal.
Yeah. Let's see how FPX can try and outplay. Quick look at the gold. Doinb, you'd think he's so much further ahead. The observer's like, no, sorry. Oh, I don't want to show that. Zoom is a milestone ahead at this point. You know, still a kill onto the top lane, but 50 CS ahead. GimGoon has fought his way back a little bit there, but almost 3 items on Zoom. Zoom's level 14. GimGoon is caught up in levels, has 2 items himself, but the Vladimir is going to require to find a big fight here for FPX. GimGoon has the items to do so, but he's in the top lane with teleport available.
If FPX turn this game, it's going to be in front of their inhibitor towers. I think the way the game is going right
call.
now, I don't see them really holding on to the map. JD Gaming has split pushers. Yagao has been uncontested throughout on the side lane so far.
And they lose another Infernal, goes over to JDG, triple Elemental, and FPX just want this mid lane turret. You can see positioning around Doinb and Tian trying to find the pick-off as LvMao returns back into the wave, but turret finally drops down. A good news story for FPX, Baron's available, they can now clear out Vision free of charge.
I'm just trying to look for the catch potential in FPX. They do have at least concussive blows, and the range of Kog'Maw has been able to snipe a lot of people out.
That bait ward, Clement, look at it. FPX waiting for someone to take it away. Even Force was scared. Sketchy area of the map for him. Zoom's not even going to go near it. So FPX, we do see that GimGoon backs away. By the way, third Elemental's going to be... third Infernal, sorry, is coming up on the map here.
Oh boy, and that's just bad news for FPX. They really wish it was something else.
Yeah. I mean, but if they get to that 40-minute mark, they're going to be happy if they get it.
Yep. So we're probably looking at a steal from Tian. I think with JD Gaming's map control, they'll be able to set up much easier, and it's so hard walking into a Gangplank in Galio.
Yep.
So I think FPX are just going to hover around the area, see if they get lucky with the Damascene standard.
Let's find out. Different build on the Galio this time. Going straight into the Locket first of all. No redemption just yet for LvMao. Protective duty needed against Imp, who now has a more Malmortius, 3-item Varus. 2 items on Yagao, of course. We've seen the fact that Yagao is relevant in this game is a good testament to JDG as a unit. There's a Void Staff on Doinb, who has a Petrifying Gaze available. All ultimates up here on Summoner's Rift, apart from Yagao, but there's not even a cooldown. Baron still hovered around, and the slower this game goes, the better it looks for FPX.
Definitely. JD Gaming is still trying to push the tempo right here. For FPX, they have a couple of waves of dealing with this. They could try to set up first and just say, hey, our 5v5 team fight is just better. Try to take us on our terms and make sure that they're not going to have to face check into a Baron fight. That's one way of dealing with the situation, but you do have to arrive on the scene much earlier than the enemy team. And right now, it looks like JD Gaming are not going to give them that chance. Full vision control in the bot side river. FPX, they just can't walk through.
No, they really can't. They'll see JDG walking through, trying to contest for vision. They eventually clear it out. Baron has one right in front of it that'll be spotted out. And now, JDG, do they pick this off? No, they're still in vision, waiting to clear it out. And still around the Baron, FPX have to make a move.
I don't think JD Gaming can actually start the Baron. It's going to be quite hard for them. They don't have a real tank on their team. And there's also a lot of checking ability from FPX.
If they knew LvMao was backing, it would be crucial for FPX. Heading towards the Baron anyway. JDG back away, as you mentioned. Now the clearing of vision continues once again. There's a scuttle crab there. Yep. That's great for FPX.
Living Artillery and Damascene Standard is going to make sure that FPX actually survive all of these baits. I think what JD Gaming are just doing, they're just fishing for a kill. But Doinb has been doing very well. He's been the one checking vision, and I really like what he's doing. It should be the support most of the time. Doinb has Cleanse, and he also has Seraph's Embrace. So it's much easier for him to check, and I think he's been doing a good job at keeping these vision fights very close.
It's also, if you face check a Cassiopeia, Petrifying Gaze, you lose.
Yes.
There is no way you survive that unless you have the reaction time of Diamond or above player. But let's be honest, in this environment, very stressful environment here in the LPL, Doinb only needs one ultimate, one slip up here from JDG, and the team fight goes their way. But you can say the exact same. If FPX have that same slip up, if they get caught out, JDG could just win this game and move forward into the grand final when they started out as the underdogs, 8th seed, and they've taken the first seed to Game 5 already.
This is a really good couple of minutes from FPX. No one was caught out. They didn't lose a lot of jungle camps, and the CS has remained about stagnant. Zoom was up 40, he's still up 40. That did not change. So they've actually bought themselves a lot of times. These 3 minutes have been absolutely crucial. They do spot the Baron now, though.
Finally making a move. Doinb sliding in as well. Tello going to be channeled here, but JDG pull off the Baron. Tian going in, finds self-capitalism into the back line. LWX gets exhausted, but Zuma's already found Tian as Yagao is trying to lock down Chris, but look at FPX. 2 kills already. They get untouched. So many damage threats for JDG to deal with. Cocoon comes through, Doinb just turns back onto floors. The fight continues as Doinb has hit level 16. Twin Fang after Twin Fang. Force has to flash over the wall. JDG in an open space, they stand no chance.
Oh boy, the miasma was so well done right there. It was Tian going on with the Cataclysm, Doinb flashing in and putting the miasma down. Zoom had his flash there. Imp had his flash as well. They could not make it out of the pit,
Here we go
knowing
again.
their tools so well.
Yagao can't jump back onto the distortion, forces around the wall. They turn for the fight. The cocoon doesn't land. LvMao gets slowed down. Doinb wants to take the fight. Floor's still around the side. They just turn for Yagao, but there's so much mobility, and Doinb can't get the miasma down onto Yagao. Movement speed from the minion zone. The Winds of War do no damage, so don't look at that. Instead, look at how FPX pull off the Baron and are heading towards the Infernal Drake. Or rather, they're just going back to Baron.
They have to go back to Baron. Like JD Gaming, they don't want to contest them there. They already have vision set up on this side of the map. They don't need to move to an unexplored area. So I like this move here.
Level 16 on Doinb. They do this so darn quick. Now that everyone's alive for JDG, Baron's going down quick. Floors has to play the 50-50. Can't get in the pit. Where does it go? The taunt coming through from Galio as FPX find themselves in the engage. FPX might be cleaned out as Chris has to flash away. LWX is going to go down as well. And that's Imp cleaning the fight. Triple kill. Make it a double for Zoom as well. Full-blown ace for JDG.
And that was just the top laners being nuclear bombs and wiping each other off the map. But JD Gaming come out ahead. They have the HP bars to live through it. FPX starting the Baron Force. They didn't have the magic resistance to hang on.
Clement, can they end the game here?
Will it actually fall right now? We have 17 seconds on 10. I don't think it's actually possible. It's going to be close, but
Well,
I don't think JD
they're
Gaming...
going for it. From zero to hero, do we find ourselves an end? No. JDG inhibitor and out. There was potential, but it was way too risky. You're right. They back away. JDG, they deny the Baron from FPX.
This is the second Baron where a team took it and nobody got the buff.
Yep.
Everyone dropped like flies right there. It was so good on GimGoon's side, but even better on Zoom. Catching them in a closed position, it was a turkey shoot with his barrels, and he was able to make maximum use of his abilities.
That's a 3-item gangplank, and I said in an open space, what are JDG going to do? Well, they found themselves everything, even though Tian had a
This was
miracle
great.
flash.
This fight was actually insane from Tian and Doinb. They get the Cataclysm, they have the Miasma, there's double flashes on the carries, it doesn't matter, they go down. But JD Gaming one-up them in the end. Miasma's already used here, LvMao gets the triple man knockup, Yagao goes in, steps in, gets tons of damage, and then Zoom follows up. That's Death Starter, true damage in that fight. Also the Chains of Corruption lands as well. So GimGoon, try as he might, he does the best possible job that he can. He's going up 1v4.
Man.
He can't break the teamwork that came out from JD
Whether
Gaming.
it's Imp, whether it's Zoom, I mean, play the Pirates of the Caribbean theme, because Zoom is Captain Bloody Jack Sparrow. And let me tell you one thing, now with an infinity edge on Gangplank,
Damn.
this is a top laner who has taken us to this point, rather.
Barrels can crit, remember that.
Yes, that was
1200
1200 on a barrel. And here we go again. FPX trying to get a pick, waiting for Floors to walk forward, but with the volatile Spiderling, easy to check brushes, but easy to get caught as it's Imp. It's Zoom, has to flash out, Redemption comes down, Imp's into GA, that's the pickup. Zoom gets the barrel though, as the Glacial Fissure knocks him up. Imp is down, but Tian is low, finds himself a bit of the healing as there's GimGoon in the front line, disjointed from the rest of his team. It feels like it. Yagao jumps on him, but the Hemoplague heals him back up. JDG get picked off, and FPX just bringing this to a knife's edge.
Yeah, they barely survived that fight. It was the same setup once more, going in with the Cataclysm, following up with Miasma, but this time JD Gaming got Zoom out in time. He was able to flash away and then deal massive amounts of damage back. You can see that right now, the target that FPX really want to get really isn't Imp anymore. It has to be Zoom.
Yeah.
Because, well, Zoom has the damage to 1v5 at this point. It's just that simple.
The Infinity Edge does that. You can see when JDG are looking for a target as well, it's LWX that they're going for. GimGoon has not been too much of a threat, but we'll watch this one again from Tian. Good engage. Yeah,
this was a really good find, but you can see the Miasma was just a little bit slow, so Zoom was able to get out of the fight just in time, use his flash right there. If the Miasma landed, I think that would be a clean wipe from FPX. They could have followed up with another 2 kills, so a very critical flash being used.
Oh, Yagao's found GimGoon. Hang on a minute. The 1v1 is going to turn into a 2v1 as Tian comes in as well. Yagao going to have to distort out of the way. No follow-up indeed as Yagao level 16. Cooldown's not a problem here.
Yeah, really close fight there, but GimGoon read the chain positioning correctly. Dodges to the top side.
Just showing you how fed Yagao actually is at this point as well. 3 items. While Doinb does have an extra item on him with the Rylai's Crystal Scepter. FPX now charging up the mid lane. Baron's up in 1 minute 50. They're hitting their item spikes, they're hitting their points, and FPX have closed the gold gap as well.
So key thing right here is JD Gaming don't actually have a front line. FPX have the flash advantages.
Didn't
they
stop
could
them
go
last time.
That is true. But they could do flash, Cataclysm into Miasma, and kill Zoom instantly.
Yeah.
They actually have the tools to do it this time around. You cannot cleanse the Miasma whatsoever, even if you use your orange. Remove Scurvy does not take away persistent effects like the Miasma. So I actually think FPS, their best chance might be pushing the tempo right now, making sure that Zoom cannot survive another engage. And if you take down Zoom, the rest of the team's not that hard to deal with.
Yeah, you want to get him now before he gets that GA. Stopwatch in hand. As soon as Zoom gets GA as well, there's ability for JDG to outplay these fights so much more if you land everything onto the top lane carry in the gangplank here.
This next Baron or Elder is going to be absolutely crucial. I think the way JD Gaming should play it out is that they should be willing to just take one or the other. Like, that's the safest bet they have. For FPX, since these objectives are going to come up before Zoom's flash,
Yep.
they should be setting up in position. They want to make this entire game just about this one team fight. Forget whatever happened before.
It's come down to this point here in game number 5. Both teams look even. It's about individual outplays and skill. Yagao does not get spotted out there with the Scryer's bloom to the side. Those Baron timers and Elder Dragons are correct, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming up soon, but Tian just wants to force the fight. Remember, front to back,
They go on
this
Zoom.
is good. Zoom locked on down, goes Golden there with a stopwatch as FPX are in a choke. Doinb at half health. They're onto Zoom. Can they find him? The flush forward. Yagao
He finds Doinb!
gets Doinb on the side. GimGoon has to flush in. Can the Vladimir get AoE? He can't. Oh my god, Yagao, you menace. LWX is still alive and JDG are low, so that's why this 3v5 is still on the ropes.
That was so insane. It looked like a good fight for FPX. I thought they were going to be able to clean that up, but the damage stopped from Doinb. Yagao managed to find him through the backline. Instant assassination. GimGoon is left by his lonesome. All the timers we were talking about happened that fight. They were setting up around Elder.
Oh, no.
They were going all in on Zoom. It didn't work out.
They got to back away. Here comes the teleport. It's Zoom. Barrel's at the ready. Jack Sparrow is back
Oh my God.
It's 2. Zoom will get launched on, but Tian's dead. JDG, this is the fight. Goodbye, support. Hello, Zoom.
And JD Gaming are going to advance. That was 4,000 damage in a single skirmish from Zoom. There's no one in the path anymore. Only Doinb and GimGoon. They have to hold off 5 members from JD Gaming.
And JDG Zoom launches down. He says, why is the rum gone? For JDG, they launch forward. This is the fight that ends all. For JDG, the first Nexus turret. GimGoon has to save the game. Hema playing
finds one.
Imp getting low. GimGoon
finds
needs to
two.
save it. Can the top laner do it? He can't. Imp auto-attacking, but he's hitting the turret. Imp just hit the Vladimir, but he can't. GimGoon saves it, but Zoom Yagao, isn't it the story of JDG? The Dumpling Brothers unite, and in Game 5, the miracle run for JDG sends them to the grand final.
JD Gaming, this is the first time that they're going to reach the finals, and you can see the emotions running high. We play better when no one thinks we're actually win. Flawless breaks down into tears. He played in LCK before, did not have a good run, came over to LPL, found a good stint on IMA Gaming, but after that, it was a pretty quiet stretch of games.
Well,
he's finally going to find himself back in the finals in 2019.
That was anything but quiet, that series, and FPX are beside themselves. The first seed knocked out by JDG, and Flawless, this is the emotion of last year's Rogue Warriors. This is the emotion that for someone who was once on Doinb's team, that the stretch didn't extend to Worlds, that they didn't take their rightful place near the top of the throne. Now they have their chance, and JDG will be heading from first round of playoffs all the way up to the grand finals.
No one could have saw that coming. Like, Flawless really deserves this game win. He tried so hard to come back from a 0-2 deficit. We thought the game was over in the first 5 minutes, but the tenacity, the mental fortitude trumps over the day. And I just feel so bad for Doinb. Another MVP split. And again, he fails to capture his team a championship trophy. He's been in the final once, but it has not gone well after those QG days.
After what was a beautiful series all the emotion that comes through from Flawless is so justified. For Flawless, a series that he should be proud of. That jungle game 5 is what brought it back. The Elise was behind, the 4 kills that came through first of all. And JDG, they beat WE 3-1, RNG 3-2, now FPX 3-2. The team, FunPlus Phoenix, were meant to have the miracle run themselves. First seed, knocked all the way out.
The faithful may rejoice. This is a Cinderella story that we have never seen in the LPL so far. A team coming in with low expectations, an average split, but making their way in the playoffs, finding the positioning in these drafts, and just sticking to their style. When push came to shove, they did come in with their own pocket picks. They did stay true to their own red side selection, to the counter lanes. They thought themselves as better individuals, and they proved it today.
And who but Zoom to end that game as well. Zoom has been having such a run here in playoffs, but also we saw the best of Yagao as that final pick came through in the mid lane. We saw Flawless, we even saw Imp and LvMao. It was truly a 5-man roster of JDG that won it out.
Unraveling in the last 2 games by FPX. I felt like they had the better macro edge throughout the first 3. The 4th game went a little bit crazy, and it didn't look like they could rebound from that. The teleport cost them a lot. The Ocean Drake was a lucky roll for Flawless as he was resetting on the map. And then Zoom was just magnificent, outplaying so many situations to get his team to that position. 4,000 damage in a single team fight to end it. It was unbelievable.
Let me just say, the left side of the bracket has been absolutely insane, and JDG have made it so. Congratulations as they move into the grand final to take on the winner of IG and TOP. It's been the miracle run, and we'll see how far they go next week, of course. But we're going to throw it back to the analyst desk after that crazy series.
Hysterics, and when I say JDG, you say Ja. Yo, JDG.
I'm not following you on that.
Oh, come on,
No,
man.
no.
After that series, they deserve it.
Just roll back that replay. I just want to see it again. Like, that was like the greatest flank imaginable, because this game goes long enough. He got 2 barrels. That's 1. That's 2.
Boom.
That was the greatest game I've watched, like, of League of Legends. My memory's bad. I'm gonna be honest. Like, so don't trust me on that one. But like, that was so beautiful, because for a lot of that game, it started off awfully from Flawless, and like, that's why it's actually so important to run that back, because Flawless started out that game really far behind on the Elise. And if we're just talking about like the road a lot of these players were having last year for Rogue Warriors, which was Doinb and Flawless's team, they failed to make finals in what was a really stacked roster. And for a lot of them, the expectations were strong. And so then, like, once again, they had that chance of having that Worlds ticket when they went into the Gauntlet finals there. And then obviously they lost to EDG on that one well. So emotions run high, especially when it feels like everything is on the line. And so that much gold goes in towards Doinb's pockets, right? He is so rich off that early skirmish. And a lot of this comp really relied on the 2v2 through mid lane. And what we got to see, now this was basically Flawless contesting. You can run me through on this one, because Flawless ended up saying to hell with the vertical jungling, and he tried to contest the blue side camps.
Yeah, because we can see now JDG bot lane both have flash. They all in to Jarvan, but his EQ CD is already up.
Yeah.
And I really like doing the flash kill E to success to kill Varus. Yeah, and I really think that what you said just now.
Yes.
You have 3 kills. You are so ahead, but ended up only have 9k for damage. So it's really a bad game for Doinb.
Yes, because like a lot of the times our criticism going towards items, like if you have that large of a lead, going tanky makes sense. But in this situation, like Banshees is a better version of Abyssal Mask for AP carries. And a lot of times, like, sure, bottom lane is having a tough time, top lane picked into a bad matchup, but if it's all around the 2v2 in mid lane, your jungle, Tian should not be getting pushed out on his camps early around the mid lane. And I'm talking about Raptors and Red Buff. And those are situations where Doinb could have been able to push out and help roam. But those situations when he finally was there to be able to flash and look for a miasma, of course, the job was already done from Elise. He had already flashed out. So this mid-game heavy composition from JDG came in strong, and Flawless found his way back into the game. And so this was a tough one, man. This was my favorite. I already said it. I'm going to keep saying it again for people to hear it out there. this was my favorite series to watch. And I'm sad that it's not a finals, but obviously we have a better, like a semifinals tomorrow that is gonna match. Like Invictus Gaming and TOP is such a sick series as well. My heart goes to Doinb, who, once again, remember, the last time he picked up of MVP when he was on Chagu, and he got kicked out of the playoffs immediately afterwards in the first round. And that was where, of course, I forget the team that they were going up against, but they were heavily favored to take that series, and it didn't happen. And then this time around, it's the same deal where they should be able to take down the JD, but JD's having an insane run right now.
Just absolutely, that game, that series as a whole, is going to go down in the history books, man. That one was so unbelievably close. And just everything about that last game was so impressive from JDG, because when you get that kind of lead on any team, on any player, that should just be the game. And especially after they were picking off Flawless time after time, it just didn't seem to matter. JDG, especially through Zoom. Now, you know me. I've been hyping up Zoom the entire split. I'm the only one who called JD, and I was like, oh, Zoom can do it. But I was going into Game 5 after I saw that level 1, level 2 skirmish. I did not think they were able to pull it out.
One of the stats that will run out when we're going into Game 1 is just how monstrous of a playoff run right now Zoom is having. Like, he is first in damage percentage, the gold percentage that he's been getting. So he's still receiving a lot of the resources that his team has. It just comes down to the fact, there you see it, averaging 14 CS CS difference at 15. And in this game, once again, he slams down in mid lane, and he's top lane, that is, and he's able to come into these team fights incredibly fed. So Zoom is having what is really just a historic split for himself. And what is already a really stacked top lane in the LPL. We were talking about the Shy, 369, Ray having a great season himself. And right now it seems like Zoom is rising to the top. So I want to see the finals, and I'm not going to spoil who I think in the next semifinal is going to come out as well. But for me, I would have a lot of fun with Zoom versus the Shy as a finals.
I really think that this game is really making me speechless because of Zoom's performance.
Yes.
Like, let we take a look at the draft. He's red side and he's blind picking GP.
Yes.
And GimGoon tells the coach, okay, my Vladimir can counter GP, right? Or else he won't pick something like Vladimir. And he wins the lane by 40 CS. And after Vladimir first TP to bot lane, he destroyed all the bricks, he killed the first tower, and he was so ahead. And also the legendary flank just now, all the barrels. And I'm really looking for him to play against the Shy or 369 too.
Yeah. A lot of top laners like the GP matchup with Grasp versus the Vladimir. And if we've seen GimGoon in the past, whenever he picks up Vladimir, this was an old FPX before they have Doinb, he just says, I'm going to pick Vladimir, I'll be relevant in team fights, much like that Kennen game. So he wanted to be able to say, okay, I may lose a lot in terms of the laning phase, but I'll come in strong. But he just didn't have an opportunity. I think he just really got locked down by how Zoom is, essentially playing out the lane and really having great back timings there. So another series where it was really dominated by the Dumpling Brothers as well, but also that caveat where they do have a bottom lane now, where LvMao is free to roam out and help his squad, and Imp in teamfights has been a strong point as well. So JDG is ready. Like, they are 100% ready for a finals. They don't even give a damn who is going up against. And the best thing, remember this too, with no EDG, no RNG in the finals, this is the first, there is going to be a new champion, because there's no, like right now, IG still hasn't won a LPL championship, even though they're the world champions. TOP, that new organization, they haven't gotten that one for themselves as well. And now JDG moving on, I mean, of course FPX wouldn't have gotten that championship too, but like for JDG to move on and for them to have, keeping that strong record from last split where they were just bumped out of the semifinals to Invictus Gaming, and now they're going farther. It's been a real tough run, especially for Coach Ohm now. He's getting that run from.
Yeah, I was ready to point out this. He's really a legendary coach because and I hate to predict JDG win or lose now, because I'm always wrong. Really, he's amazing. JDG really gives me a kind of feeling that this team is not afraid of losing any game. They can learn, they can adapt the draft. At first they try to use Kalista, they use Syndra, and at last they pull something like Bard, Malzahar, and also LeBlanc with Elise. That is not really good because enemy can just simply get cleansed. And I really like Coach Home in locking GP. is like the same thing like the KO lock. Remember the 5 game?
Yeah.
Zoom did as well as this game when the last 3 was against RNG. And also, I think he is really good at observing the players' performance. Like, he saw that Imp is really good with Ferris. Even his support is nothing with Tom Kench and Brom. I already told you, Ferris and Ash, they can't play well without protective supports. But his build proves that he can lane, he can team fight, he can initiate with his R and his Q poke to eliminate Kog'Maw in Game 4.
Yes.
And these picks are really essential because they grab Ferris very early and they grab GP. I don't know why. Like, for me, it's like if you grab GP early, it's really easy for enemy to counter, but he just know this. And this is very important for a coach, and especially in the BO5, because this game, if you lose everything.
Yeah, there's a really good read, I would say, of Coach Rome for the enemy team. Because throughout the entire best of 5, I was like, why aren't we seeing the Jaces nearly as often? I think Jace would be a great matchup, especially to be able to bully the top lane matchup. And there are great matchups into the GP, but it seemed like, of course, GimGoon wasn't willing to go towards that one. He was actually far more willing to actually lose some of these lane matchups to be able to be more relevant in team fights. That never came. So JDG in this game had control, where in the last game had no reason to be able to pick up this win. So FPX must feel just completely destroyed after the series, being able to be this close to the finals. They just needed to be able to pick up this series, and I think they were in a great position to do just that, especially after what is a morale building level 2. Being able to pick up like 3 kills and get it to Cassiopeia. They must have thought that there was no way they would be losing that. Not a lot of times you end up coming out one and like wanting to play the rest of the game out.
Well, I mean, let's go back and let's talk about that last game, because we talked him up for a full 3 minutes straight.
We got it.
We know it is going to be Zoom MVP
Yes.
on that gang plank. That's exactly what we wanted to see. Those flanks, those barrels,
42%
42% damage. Good Lord.
Look, that Infinity Edge did a lot of value. Let me find the damage percentage. There we go. Gold difference at end of game. That's a lot of gold that the GP has racked up for himself.
93.3% kill participation too. Not too shabby for a top laner.
But I still want to say, although, just
I see it
get this
again,
way.
man. I know we saw this just when we came in, but like, boom! What's up? Boom! There are so many times, like, I'm gonna go to bed right now. Like it's already what? Yeah, it's 10 o'clock already. When I get home, I'm watching this on repeat, and I'm just saying right now that's the nightmares of FPX. But it's certainly the dreams of Caps. There are people out there that are looking back at this one for days to come.
That was the solution. That was the old Yeller solution to the problem of the 80 carry of FPX there. Just boom, boom, double barrel. That was it. But let's take a look now that we know who our first finalist is going to be. Let's take a look at that bracket. JD Gaming going to be our first finalist, and tomorrow we're going to see IG versus TOP as well.
It's going to be insane no matter who we get from that side. Invictus Gaming versus JDG, that was, remember on IG's historic run to get to themselves to Worlds? They almost didn't even make it to the finals in the LPL because of how JDG played. When Clid, who's now, a champion in LCK now, he's got that gold for himself, was on that team. And so JDG is able to make it for themselves. You saw how much emotion Yagao had and how much emotion Flawless had. It's going to be real fun for them to be able to play this one out and at least have the memories of being in that massive stadium.
Well, I mean, there's always that idea of if this is looking a little bit far ahead, but if JDG get the finals and they go to MSI, could be Clid versus his old team. I'm just saying.
Let's go!
I'm just saying.
Look, book the ticket. I don't care who else. Even if they lose the finals, take the ticket from someone else. Like North America, you don't need that one anymore. Just put that. No, I'm a big sucker for like narrative stories like that, because those players they hold a lot of those emotions. When Loken went to TOP, guess who can join that finals? TOP's on the other side of that bracket. Clid, of course, now going to MSI. Like, those are real points and storylines that a lot of people will remember. So I want to see it. I just spoiler alert, I have a lot of faith in Invictus Gaming in that series. So it's going to be a tough run for a lot of these teams.
Any team that is going to be better than JDG, definitely going to be worth watching if they do get the victory and Rift all the way over to MSI. But let's take a look at tomorrow's match. It's going to be our second and final semifinal. It's going to be IG versus TOP.
And so remember, the whole discussion around MVP was based around Knight, Rookie, Doinb, all of these stellar mid laners. And I love to be able to see Rookie go up against TOP. The last time we saw this matchup was week 1, when the LPL opened up the split with this, and it was Invictus Gaming coming out with a 2-0 victory over TOP. And even before that, it was the Demacia Cups, and we were just we wanted to see the matchup again. And we all thought it was going to be a finals possibility. But the semifinals is always fun to watch as well.
It's going to be a fun one with all the solo laners, not just the mid lane, top lane as well. Bottom lane, you get a little bit of fun there too. Tomorrow is going to be exciting, and I really hope that it's going to be able to live up to today.
It will. It will. I think they'll, one way or another. I know this one was teamfight heaven, and I think the next series that we see versus IG and TOP will be laning phase heaven. Like, a lot of these players live or die by the lane, and so we'll just see the Shy hopefully all 5 games going up against 369. There's no way not to be excited.
All right, well, we're going to be seeing that one tomorrow from myself, from Raz, from Tabe, from the whole production team. Thank you so much for coming out, and we'll see you again tomorrow with our final semifinals match of IG versus TOP.